Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. Today it's going to be a showing off video, and I'm going to show off how I make the silver handled knives I make. Those who know, this is one of my favorite creations. It's just simply hollow handles from old butter knives that I fill with solder and stick new blades in. Now this particular butter knife's different from the ones I normally have. This one has metal filled in it all the way to right here, and I can't drill through it without ruining the handle, so I just use what space is left to put a new tang in, which is fine because these aren't made for heavy duty work. And the blade I'll be using is one of my triangular shaped blades that I made out of a triangular shaped file, and the guard is aluminum. And to help the metal stick to the tang, I cut grooves into the tang of the knife, so that way when the metal hardens, it permanently locks it into the handle. Anyway, it's relatively simple. I put this part in a bench vise, not too much to where it won't accidentally squish the handle, because I don't want to ruin it. There, that's enough. And on the off chance you don't have to use different gauges of solder, I have two different gauges. I have this really thick solder that's not cheap, and I have this really thin solder that I've got plenty of. And I only use this stuff if I have to. And if you've got this kind of stuff, you can use it as well. And what I do is I take a long strain of it and bind it all together because it's going to melt the same way regardless. So that way you can kind of control where it's going. And when you're pouring liquid solder like this, you have to be careful because, for one, you got to make sure you have enough solder and enough gap, because when you insert the tang, that's going to create more gap and it's going to fill the rest of the gap. And you have to be really careful because when you put water on it, you don't want steam being shot back in your face because it does hurt. And anyway, let's get started. You hear that little sizzling sound? That's from the solder. Yeah, I'm going to need more. Again, it always hurts to have more than a few. And again, you take the solder, bind it into a little rope, twist it, and twist it again. There you go. And then add it. Since solder is one of the lowest melting metals there is, it's relatively easy to melt. And sometimes it cools too quickly, like that, and you have to reheat it up with the blowtorch. There we go. And you have to be real careful. When it's doing this, you have to be really careful. And then the next part is inserting the blade. And you want to make sure your guard is locked onto this blade, otherwise it's going to turn when the metal gets on it. So anyway, and then you have to hold it there for at least 5 seconds. So that way the metal cools and locks it into the handle. And just in case heat travels up from the knife, you have to make sure you're holding it with your glove. And make sure, of course, the knife itself isn't sharp. Okay. Looks like the metal's hardened a little bit. Okay. Then next thing you want to do is pour just a little bit of water on the handle. Because you see, that's going to happen right there. Okay, and then that'll harden that. And you want to hold it by the blade just in case the liquid solder has not fully cured yet. Okay, and then right into the water. Then you want to hold it there for at least a few seconds just in case. Okay. And then what you also want to do is hold it up to your ear right here and shake it. If you don't hear any rattling, then it's cured. If you hear some rattling, then simply all you have to do is remelt it again, pour some more solder, and stick the blade right back on. And then you do this just to get rid of any of the water that might still be in the handle. And that's how you simply put one together. As simple as it goes. And then, of course, I'll hand sand it, polish it, make it look a lot nicer. But that is how you put one of these together. All you need is a basic butter knife handle, some silver solder, and a blowtorch, and a bench vise. And then another thing I guess I should say is when you have extra solder, like for instance, there's a few small chunks of solder that came out of this while they were melting, which does typically happen. What you're going to want to do is keep that stuff because solder's not cheap these days. And then you can just simply take the little pieces and remelt them down or stick them in another handle and melt them down again. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. One of my friends requested I do this, so I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, stay sharp and keep collecting.